Amen. Amen. Next is the national anthem. May we rise for the national anthem, please.
Nigeria, we hail. Those rise and talk many for in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to set our sovereign mother. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace, all bow to honor, and this we can't escape. To help children of honor without stain. Oh God of all creation, grant these our one request. Help us to build a nation when no man is oppressed. And so in peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed.
Everyone.
As now we proclaim, from hills and valleys we come, to draw from the stream of knowledge. Our duty is to succeed in learning and service. Excellence is our goal. Ahmadu, Bello, University. In our dreams we shall achieve. We give thanks to Almighty Allah, in Him we derive our strength. In beautiful we shall abide by the ways of good learning. Not to south, east to west, your name shall always be. Ahmadu, Bello, University, a citadel of great learning.
Thank you very much. We all be seated. The chairman, sir, quickly before we move to the next item on the agenda, one of our special guests, the former Chief of Staff to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, was supposed to be here with us, but he is unavoidably absent and sent an apology. And ladies and gentlemen, quickly, without much waste of our time, at this juncture, may I invite the interim president of the International Studies Alumni Association, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, for the welcome address. Please put your hands together for the interim president while he comes to the podium.
The special guest of honor, whom we heard is unavoidably absent, and I was supposed to be at the finality, but we knew that something happened just some few days ago, and the person couldn't come, but he lost their cousin of his. And of course, the insecurity could not allow him to come. So we are recognizing the special guest of honor, the executive governor of Zaria State, who will not be here with us. But we are greatly delighted today to have in our midst the royal father of the day, who abandoned what has all his royal duties to be here, and despite also losing the dear mother. Sir, accept our condolences. You are welcome, sir. The chairman of the occasion, whom we had to also put some hold on his to bring him here. In fact, immediately after this event, we sent him to fly out of the country. Our chairman, you are welcome. Thank you very much. The professor as guest lecturer, maybe some of you may know him, some may not know, but he is, of course, a versatile lecturer who also was our immediate past ambassador to the Russian Federation on accreditation. Lecturer, you are welcome, and thank you for honoring our invitation to come and deliver this lecture. I wanted to look at the issues from how we started. I wrote here as we recognize and welcome each and every one of you, and those that I mentioned on the high table. We have a book reviewer because it's we are here in the Center of Excellence. IBU is the greatest we know, the greatest of the greatest. So, and one of the things that we are going to listen later is a presentation on brain gain, a book authored by some of our former lecturers and some academicians together to present you. So I have expressed a special appreciation to our chief host, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Bello. He has been up and doing and supporting this Alumni Association. Whenever we call, he's there for us. So we are grateful. The DVC, who is representing him, please extend our appreciation and gratitude to the Vice Chancellor. Of course, we also have a link to the university. So some of these things happen just not by chance, but we have a very active member of the Alumni Association, who is the head of the Department of Political Science and International Studies program of this university. Professor Ahmadu, thank you very much for all what you do to support us and also organize lots of this. As I would just mention, this association started as a pioneer group in 1982. That was the first group that started forming an association. Well, we were not up to 70. And of course, when we started, we did one or two things. We had a lecture, we had a dinner delivered, and then a lecture delivered by one of our professors. And it was a very good outing. And then when Professor Gambari, who is the grand patron of this organization, was appointed chief of staff, we had a dinner for him. And at that point, we realized that, well, what of the rest of those who studied international studies? Maybe we should expand this to form a bigger building, not just the first group. So everybody that went through the system of and international studies should also be a member of the center. And that was how it started, and that what we have here today. And part of the tradition we had was the meeting, lecture, let's educate ourselves and those who will come and listen to us. And that's what brought about this lecture of today. And of course, Professor Shehu, who was also a graduate of the IS, decided to honor this invitation. If you can recall, last year we had Professor Luncheon, who was here and delivered a public lecture at the 60th anniversary of the university. Our members are also determined to create synergy to give back to Ahmadu in order to motivate the lecturers of students to aspire to great heights. The objective of giving back to the university is our own special way of showing our appreciation and gratitude to the university that has contributed to our development, both physically, socially, academically, and professionally. In so doing, the association has in recent times hundreds of books and other literary works with the Department of Political Science and International Studies Library. Just witnessed one transfer also from the guest lecturer to the head of department. These are some of the things that we hope the association will continue to do. Well, appreciation to the university has also contributed to our development. In so doing, the association, that is this book that the brain that will be presented by Professor Sulekam. Do we have a copy of it? Book. Okay. Later on, you can see we'll present it to all of us to see. Also, if you recall that we had a meeting last year with the Professor Bello, who just mentioned that he has been very open doing when it comes to issues of this association, and we are grateful. The association also, right now, we have a proposal to honor the past Nigerian heads of departments of Faculty of Arts and Social Science. This was a proposal given to us by some of our lecturers, former lecturers, and we are working on it. The idea was to have it in conjunction with this AGM, but time wasn't on our side and logistics were just too heavy. So it's one of the things that we are looking forward to do, inshallah, next year, with the collaboration of the department and the university. So this year, the deputy vice chancellor, I hope you are, so that when we come knocking, and then this and that, please give us a chance to do that. I have not been able to read all what I wrote here, but just to, on behalf of the association, I wish to again welcome all the guests and other attendees to this August event. And it is our hope that the association will become stronger and stronger to witness more AGMs and other intellectual gatherings to support the university. Yes. Thank you. But before I close, please, I want us once again to recognize our Royal Father of the Day by standing up and giving a standing ovation. Please. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the interim president. Sir, please once again a round of applause for the interim president. And ladies and gentlemen, quickly, before we move to the next item on the agenda, Mr. Chairman, sir, may I recognize, with your permission, sir, may I recognize the presence of the members, the entourage of our Royal Father of the Day, the Emir of Zazzau. The Emir of Zazzau came in company of Wazir Zazzau, Kadi Ino Aminu. Please a round of applause for Wazir Zazzau. We also have the Bardan Zazzau, an erudite scholar and academic, Professor S.M. Bamali. You're welcome, sir. And then we also have the Bardan Irarian Zazzau and the MS entourage, architects Abubakar Haruna Bamali, district head of Basawa. You're welcome, sir. And quickly also, may I respectfully recognize the presence of our lecturer, Professor Kayode Omojua of the Department of Political Science and International Studies. Welcome, sir. Also a former Head of the Department of Theatre and Performing Arts, Professor Rashid Aliman. You're welcome. And at this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, may I respectfully invite to the podium the chairman of today's occasion, the Acting Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission, Dr. Chris J. Miyaki. Please put your hands together for him while he comes to the podium.
Thank you very much. The Royal Father of the Day, His Royal Highness, Emir Zawzaw, Ambassador Ahmadu Momali, who we also remember, recognize vividly as the Pro-Chancellor of the Chancellor, the current Chancellor of the University of Jos. The Chief Host, Vice Chancellor, my brother, Professor Kabiri, here ably represented by another brother, Professor Ahmed Ibrahim, Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration. And then another brother, the guest lecturer, Ambassador Professor Abdullahi Y. Kebu, who, as we know, is the immediate past ambassador to the Russian Federation. And I want to recognize a leading figure in the academia, another brother, another mentor, Professor Abdullahi Sule Kano, who is the book reviewer. Then the interim president of the International Studies Alumni Association, Ambassador Montari Abdul Keita. I recognize all the other members of the interim management team, distinguished alumni of our great alma mater, members of staff and students, members of the press, the photos of the Zaria, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. This morning, it is with great honor that I welcome you all to this historic occasion of the first annual general meeting of the International Studies Alumni Association of our great university. Indeed, today's gathering marks a significant milestone for our association, as we're here not only to reconnect, I've seen a lot of reconnection going on, but also to celebrate the pursuit of knowledge and excellence for which this great institution is well known for both nationally and internationally. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm here wearing two caps. First, as a proud alumnus of this prestigious university. And second, as the Acting Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission, the premier regulatory agency for university education in the country. I must say that I'm immensely fulfilled and deeply appreciative of the honor of chairing a gathering of very distinguished alumni of such a great institution. I mean, I've seen people we didn't even meet as undergraduates here. I mean, what a moment of inspiration for each and every one of us. And as you all know, this great institution, Ahmadu Bello University, was once the bastion of radical ideology and the pursuit of political liberation, in Africa and beyond. That is what gives us the special feeling of being the most, and I want to underscore this, the most culturally educated and broad-minded, products ever to be produced by any university in this country. Indeed, this maiden knowledge and social networking festival, for me, evokes memories of determined young men and women who dare to dream and who can now look back with pride, with fulfillment, and count themselves lucky to have gone through some of the best academic traditions ever. Permit me to appreciate the presence of our esteemed special Royal Father of the Day, who we are honored by his gracious presence, His Royal Highness, the Emir of Zaria, Ambassador Ahmadu, who, as we well know, is a distinguished statesman whose deep roots in both tradition, in modernity, and diplomatic engagements are a shining example for all of us. Thank you very much. And I want to extend the same appreciation to our chief host, Vice Chancellor Professor Kabir Bala, who is ably represented here, for his tireless commitment to the institution's development and the unwavering support given to the International Studies Alumni Association. I mean, this has been re-echoed by the chairman of the interim committee. We are truly grateful, Mr. Vice Chancellor. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in the over 60 years since the establishment of Ahmadu Bello University, the institution has had unprecedented history of achievements, having produced many greats, technocrats, scientists, engineers, administrators, professionals, scholars, lawyers, entrepreneurs, name it, a majority of whom have made tremendous contributions to the development of our country. I cannot think of any university in this country that has produced as many vice presidents, as many governors, as many legislators, as many super public officers, diplomats as Ahmadu Bello University Zaria. No wonder the well-known saying that in all circumstances, the ABU graduate is always naturally ahead of others. And for our esteemed alumni who have traveled from far and near to be here, I add a word of welcome to the welcome that has already been well laid out by the President. Your presence today underscores the strength of the common bond that ties us together as graduates of the International Studies program of ABU. It is remarkable to have such a distinguished assembly of talent and dedication in one room. I must add, subsequent to this, that we are particularly honored to have one of our own as today's guest and distinguished lecturer, Professor Abdullahi Y. Shehu is not only a friend, he's a brother and a mentor whose illustrious academic career has traversed both national and international landscape. There can be no better person to do justice to the complex issues of the sub-region of the economic community of West African states, especially from the perspective of recent events in Niger, in Mali, and Burkina Faso. I'm just trying to be deliberately vague, Your Excellency, so as not to get entangled in the nuances of the situation. However, I can say, and I dare say confidently, that Professor Shehu has a combination of competence, capacity, and the experience required to deconstruct the complexities of the situation for clarity and for a deeper understanding of the situation. They say the past is in the eyes of the present. This I learned from the Abdullahi Smith lecture theater day in, day out, when I had my stint here. But I think one man whose vision we are celebrating today is Ahmadu Bello, the Sultan of Sokoto. Ahmadu Bello's vision for ABU and Nigeria as a whole was remarkably forward-thinking. He sought to build a bridge between Africa and the Western world, as well as between the Muslim and the Christian cultures, aimed at fostering unity, mutual respect, and understanding. And although he is gone, Ahmadu Bello's vision continues to resonate today, reminding us of the need to draw strength from our diverse traditions while remaining focused on building a brighter and more inclusive and prosperous Nigeria. Now, moving away from international affairs, let me use this opportunity to speak briefly about some of the achievements and activities at the NUC, in the Commission's efforts at revitalizing the Nigerian higher education system and repositioning it for national and regional development. And as you can recall, the core mandate of the Commission is to set and implement minimum academic standards. I mean, apart from setting those standards, we also enforce them. We confirm conformity otherwise to the external regulatory prescriptions. And we're proud to say that as a Nigerian university system, we have consummated our core curriculum minimum academic standards. And we have done this in conjunction with all the academics, all the academies, all the professionals, all the senates of the university, among several others. We also have just consummated our transnational education guidelines because the chunk of the audience here are internationally minded people. Hitherto, Nigeria will close its borders. And this is what the economists call the autarky. But as a commission, we decided to open up the higher education space. And now more than ever, foreign investors can come into Nigeria, can set up branch campuses. They can undertake twinning arrangements, split-size arrangements. They can also establish teaching institutions, undertake several other things under a strict regime of quality assurance. As we proceed with today's events, including the important general elections for a new leadership, I urge all alumni to remain focused and dedicated to the core values of our association. It is through your active participation in these activities that we can continue to strengthen our alma mater and contribute meaningfully to the growth of our great nation. I echo the words of our interim president, Ambassador Muntari Abdul in calling for active involvement in this association. Our collective efforts will not only support the association, it will also enhance the future of education and scholarship in Nigeria. And now to ABU, before I wind up to the management of this prestigious university, I'd like to emphasize that the strength of any alumni network begins with an intellectually and socio-culturally enriched and rewarding student experience. And there can be no doubt that ABU already has this nourishing resource in abundance, and it can only improve upon that. And therefore, urge the University Management to establish and enhance its student support services arm and the alumni engagement unit. I think you have the advancement office, right? You know, so that it will enable this university to tap into the immense potential of its alumni network, thereby encouraging the culture of giving back that promotes the institution's long-term sustainability. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, by way of conclusion, let me once again re-echo the deep sense of gratitude that I feel to this association for finding me worthy of serving as the chairman of this occasion. Let us work together to create a vibrant and dynamic association that which does not only support its members, but which contributes to the broader goals of our university in particular and Nigeria in general by expanding the frontier of knowledge, by leveraging on our collective expertise and experiences. And may this maiden edition, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the AGM, serve as a true testament to the brighter future that lies ahead of this association, that lies ahead of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and our country, Nigeria, and the humanity in general. And I thank you for your kind attention and for this great honor. Long live Ahmadu Bello University, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You can do better, please. Once again, a round of applause for the chairman. There are a lot of take-home messages on the speech of the chairman. The chairman said he's here in two capacities. As an alumnus of the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and then of course, as the acting executive secretary of the National Universities Commission, NUC. Ladies and gentlemen, it is only the lucky ones and the privileged ones that find themselves in Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. If you are in Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, count yourself lucky and then enjoin your siblings who have nothing to do with ABU to please come forward, even if it is a weak certificate. It will add value to their CV. Thank you very much, sir. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're indeed making progress. And quickly, at this juncture, may I respectfully invite For some remarks, the chief host of today's event, the Vice Chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Professor Kabiru Bala, ably represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Professor Ahmadu Ibrahim. Please put your hands together for the Vice Chancellor when he comes to the podium.
The special guest of honor, the Executive Governor of Zamfara State, Dr. Dauda Lawal, the Royal Father of the Day, His Royal Highness Malam Dr. Ahmadu Bambali, CON, the 19th Emir of Zazzau, the chairman of today's occasion, my boss, Dr. Chris Mayagi, the acting Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission, other senior members of the Zazzau Emirate Council present here, the guest lecturer, our senior brother, Ambassador Professor A.Y. Isheo, COON, the book reviewer, another senior brother, Professor Abdullah Isule Kano, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Bayero University Kano, the interim president, ABU International Studies Alumni Association, Ambassador Motari Abdul Keita, other members of the Board of Trustees, interim executive members, and members of the ABU International Studies Alumni Association, distinguished members of staff and students of Ahmadu Bello University, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I have the singular honor and privilege on behalf of the Vice Chancellor of Ahmadu Bello University to welcome all of you to this very auspicious occasion, which marks the first annual general meeting, lecture, book presentation, luncheon, and general election of the ABU International Student Studies Alumni Association. Since the formation of this association, it has become a pace setter and a model for other associations to emulate. It is with great pride for this university that the International Studies program, like many other programs in ABU, have produced great personalities who have meritoriously served Nigeria nationally and internationally. While we acknowledge the numerous projects and programs that the association has embarked upon, we look forward to more interventions. In particular, we're working out a strategy for effective town and gown exchange that will facilitate the return of the practical experiences and knowledge gathered by the many products of this program into our curriculum. We value industry experience because many of the experiences many of you have gathered cannot be found in any books. So we're working out a strategy in line with the CCMAS of National Universities Commission that will bring back many of you to talk to our students so that again they begin to see what happens in the field while still in classroom. Many programs have already commenced such exchange programs, and international studies is one very formidable one that we believe will benefit tremendously. We also look forward to your contributions to the ABU Endowment Foundation. The ES, I just mentioned it. The government cannot carry the burden of university education alone. And in the last couple of years, we have been working on strategies to ensure financial sustainability for the university. One way is through contributions to the endowment fund. A very formidable team has already been established as the Board of Trustees of the Endowment Foundation, incidentally chaired by our Governing Council Chairman, Alhaji Yahya Mahmoud Ahmed, and the Board of Trustees has already mandated, I'm sure you get details from the head of the department in the course of today's gathering and deliberations. We look forward to those your contributions. I know the International Studies Program is already doing a lot. I'm aware of the programs that you have already done. We've seen the books that you have contributed, the refurbishment works that have taken place in the department, but then the resources that the university is getting from government is dwindling, and there is increasing cost of governance. Electricity alone, as we're aware, our bill in the last couple of months has been the minimum of 300 million in a month for electricity alone. That is to Kaitco. That is outside the expenses on diesel generators and other forms of energy augmentation. That takes us to over 10 million naira per day as electricity costs. So any contribution that we can make towards creating sustainability for the university will be highly welcome. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor, once again, I welcome you back to campus, and I hope you will find some time to have a look around the scenery of the university. The dam is just behind us here. I hope in addition to the critical discussions you'll be holding, you will take time to have very relaxed stay on campus. Wishing you very fruitful deliberations and impactful AGM. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, once again, a round of applause for the Vice Chancellor. The Vice Chancellor has said it all. And for our distinguished alumni, some have not been here for quite a number of years, and you can actually create time out of your tight schedules to visit some prominent site of the university so that you can see for yourself how ABU has transformed over the years. Ladies and gentlemen, quickly before the next item on the agenda, may I recognize the presence of the representative of the Department of State Security Services, Malam Ibrahim Muhammad. You're welcome, sir. Quickly, the next is supposed to be a remark by the special guest of honor, but it has been replaced by a royal remark. And ladies and gentlemen, the next remark is to be delivered by the Emir of Zazzau, His Royal Highness Ambassador Malam Ahmadu. The Emir, sir, please, before I do that, the Emir of Zazzau is the 19th Emir of Zazzau, Chairman of the Kaduna State Council of Chiefs, former Nigerian ambassador to the Kingdom of Thailand, with the concurrent accreditation to the Republic of the Union of Myanmar. He is a former commissioner, Kaduna State Electoral Commission, CECOM, former executive director, Nigerian Security Printing and Minting PLC, former acting MD, Nigerian Security and Minting PLC, a distinguished alumnus of the International Studies program. Precisely, the Emir holds a Master's in International Affairs and Diplomacy from the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Also an alumnus of the Faculty of Law, ABU Zaria, a distinguished alumnus of the Harvard University and then Oxford University. Ladies and gentlemen, with profound respect and deepest sense of humility, may I respectfully hand over the mic to the Emir for his remarks.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I thought I was going to come here, see my friends, watch the guest speaker deliver his speech and paper, and then quietly move out when it is my time to take my leave. But I was caught unawares, Ambassador Keita, that I have to speak before this very, very important gathering today. Be that as it may, I was compelled to scribble something because I saw the chairman of the occasion, Dr. Chris Mayagi, who's a very eloquent speaker, and I was not fortunate to speak before him. So meaning that whatever I say is not going to be as profound as what he already said. Nevertheless, I struggled to scribble something while seated there, to see if it will go well with the gathering. So with that, I've already laid the foundation. So don't consider what I'm going to say as something that should reflect entirely what is going to be said here by this very, very distinguished diplomats and professors. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say a big thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak in this very important faculty. May I start by saying thank you for the commiseration for the bereavement that happened to me in Adamia or other fields. You have represented the values, culture, and potential of our nation. You have showcased that Nigeria is not just a country of challenges, but a land of immense promise and opportunities. The importance of international studies. In the complex and interconnected world we navigated today, the importance of international studies cannot be overstated. Understanding global dynamics, fostering international cooperation, and promoting cultural exchanges are more critical than ever before. The faculty has equipped you with the knowledge and skills to bridge the gaps and build enduring relationships among nations. Your work is essential in fostering peace, stability, and prosperity in our ever-evolving global landscape. Allow me to share a brief recollection of my tenure as Nigerian ambassador to Thailand and Myanmar. It was a role that underscored the importance of diplomacy and profound impact of cultural exchange. I learned that mutual respect, understanding, and collaboration are the foundation upon which strong international relations are built. The principles are equally applicable to our personal and professional lives. Looking to the future, as we look ahead, I implore each of you to continue to leverage the knowledge and networks you have built here. Use them to drive positive changes and foster international understanding. The Alumni Network is a powerful force for good. Engage with it, support it, and let it be the platform for innovative ideas and meaningful collaboration. Gratitude and recognition. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the faculty members who have not only imparted knowledge, but also inspired and mentored all of us here. Your dedication has been instrumental in shaping the leaders seated here today. To the organizing committee and also the board of trustees, your efforts in bringing us together today are commendable. Thank you for curating an environment that nurtures reflection, reconnection, and renewal. In conclusion, let us remember that our journey does not end here. Let this gathering be a springboard for renewed commitment to our individual and collective goals. Let us go forth and make significant contribution to our communities, our nation, and the world at large. So with this, I'd like to end my remarks here, and I hope and pray that you will have a very good deliberation, and I'm expecting excellent presentation from His Excellency here, waiting to deliver the keynote address and paper. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
This was. Please once again put your hands together for our Royal Father of the Day. Thank you very much, sir. An ABU graduate is always naturally ahead. So if looking at the antecedents of the emir is not only a royal father, but also a diplomat who has represented Nigeria in different international missions. Thank you very much, sir, for your contribution to nation building. And thank you very much for your contribution towards the development of our alma mater. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, we're indeed making progress. We're coming to the main event of the day, which is the public lecture. And the public lecture is to be presented by Professor E.Y. Shehu. Before I call upon the guest lecturer, there is going to be a citation. And the chairman, sir, with your permission, each time we find ourselves in a gathering like this, and each time citations are read, it is the tradition that the person whose citation is read stands. So may I humbly request that our guest lecturer stand and remain standing while I read the citation. Citation of Professor Abdullahi Shehu Ibaikwad. Professor Shehu obtained a BSc degree in International Studies at the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria in 1988. He obtained an MSc in International Relations at the University of Abuja in 1997. PhD in Criminology, specializing in anti-corruption, anti-money laundering at the University of Hong Kong in 2003. He was the first African to write a doctorate thesis on money laundering. He was a member of course 16 of the Howard Leadership Program USA 2012. He has attended several courses in security, intelligence, law enforcement, and diplomacy. Professor Shehu has a rare mix of professional experiences spanning over 35 years in security, intelligence, public administration, diplomacy, and academia. He began his career in the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, in 1989. He served in the presidency for 27 years in various capacities. He is the immediate past Nigerian ambassador to the Russian Federation with current accreditation to the Republic of Belarus. He was the pioneer director general of the ECOWAS Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa, GABA, a specialized institution of the ECOWAS and a financial action task force, style regional body. During his 8-year tenure as Director General of GABA, Professor Shehu demonstrated a visionary, purposeful, professional, and exemplary leadership leading to removal of Nigeria from the FATF NCCT's list in 2006, establishment of a strong institution which has become a model, facilitated the establishment of 13 financial intelligence units in West Africa, supported ECOWAS countries to enact, modify, and update legislation on money laundering, terrorist and proliferation financing, established a strong framework of combating corruption, money laundering, and terrorist financing in all ECOWAS member states. Before assuming the leadership of GABA, Professor Shehu was a pioneer director of training and research in the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Professor Shehu has represented Nigeria in several bilateral and multilateral negotiations. Through excellent academic achievement, he became professor at the National Open University of Nigeria in 2015 after retirement from the EFCC. He has published extensively, including 8 books and over 70 learned articles and memoirs. He's married with children. Mr. Chairman, sir, Vice Chancellor, distinguished members of the High Table, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you our guest lecturer for today, Professor E.Y. Shehu. Please, a round of applause for him while he comes to the podium.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Your Majesty, distinguished Emir of Zazzau, His Excellency the Gubernali, Amiable Ambassador, whose record remains indomitable in the history of diplomacy and foreign policy. The representative, the chairman of the occasion, my friend and brother, Dr. Chris Bayaki, the representative of the Vice Chancellor, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, our amiable President, Ambassador Mutari Kaita, members of the board, the book reviewer, Professor Abdullah Suley, I believe is the author of the book on my side. I couldn't ask his name. Our amiable First Lady, I can say First Lady because she's the only lady on the high table and she is the head of our department. Chief host, our active and dynamic, indefatigable Dr. Rayhan, thank you very much for an excellent arrangement. We are happy that this event has finally come. We are here for you. Thank you very much. Distinguished royal fathers who accompanied His Majesty, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, and colleagues, students, and whoever is here. Let me begin by paying tribute to our father, our mentor, our grandfather, His Excellency Sir Ahmadu Bello, the Sardauna of Sokoto, through whose vision that this university is here today, and we are all products of Sir Ahmadu Bello. One cannot recall what our father has done to northern Nigeria and to the unity of Nigeria. We can only pray for his cause in Al-Jannah Firdausi, and may God bless his generations and all northerners. Your Majesty, we thank you sincerely for your tutelage and close eyes and oversight over the university to grow over time. I recall the significant roles that were played by your predecessor, our father, Alhaji Shehu Idris. May Allah bless him and repose his soul in Al-Jannah, that he was tenaciously committed to the ideals and objectives of this university, and it grew from strength to strength. And we are happy today that you are continuing with that vision, with that leadership, with that dedication. We thank you, Your Royal Highness. May God give you long life in good health to continue to serve Nigeria and humanity. I cannot but recall the role of Professor Ibrahim Gambari, our mentor, who established this course way back in 1981-82. May I therefore respectfully ask the pioneers of this course to stand up for recognition, please. IS 1982. IS 1982. You can see these are our elders. You can see they are only about 8 in number, 7 in number. But there are many more of them. Please sit down, Your Excellencies. They were the pioneers of this course. And over time, many of us have graduated from this department and we have served Nigeria in various capacities. But I want to attest that in all our missions abroad, we have not had where this course has made a mark more than in the Russian Federation. I said so because going through the records, I saw that a number of my colleagues, senior colleagues, were in that mission, even if not as ambassadors. I saw in the file that our interim president himself, Ambassador Mutari, served in the mission, and I traced all his records and what he has done. And I want to report to you that he has represented you very well. I also saw a name that I have never met, and I don't know if he is here. Ambassador Gafai. I saw a name, Gafai. Well, I'm delighted to see you physically. This is my first time of seeing you, but theoretically I know you in and out, and I saw the record you left in Russia. As ambassador, I was a very thorough veteran of all files, and I saw what you left, and I commend you for all the services you have provided to Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, for the sake of time, I will stop here. Finally, I would like to express our gratitude to the Board of Trustees who formed this association, who committed themselves to it despite the challenges. And I am profoundly delighted to be given the rare opportunity to deliver this second lecture after my brother, Professor Lukoshi, who delivered about 2 years ago. I find this a great honor because I'm not the best of all. I am one among equal, but for such privilege to be extended to me, I'm eternally grateful. And I would like Ahmadu, who persuaded me to please create time for this. I am happy to do this as a national service. I thank you also for giving me the liberty to choose the topic I was coming to talk on. And I decided that, well, ABU is very close to Niger. And the issue of Niger now in ECOWAS is a topical issue. I believe that I will be able to provoke some thoughts on their part, and especially His Excellency, the Emir of Zaria, who has been a diplomat and very keenly interested in this area. I may not give all the solutions, but I will try to expose certain things that we can discuss. Now, talking about this is a huge, huge topic, and I cannot take the whole of their time today to discuss. So what I intend to do in this presentation, I cannot avoid giving you a little bit about the successes of ECOWAS. But most importantly, I will take more time to discuss the current situation that 3 members of ECOWAS, the republics of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, have decided to quit ECOWAS. We would like to examine the implications on those countries, on us, members of ECOWAS, and in particular, of Nigeria as the leader of ECOWAS. You may recall that the ECOWAS was established on the 29th of May, 1975. And the Article 3 of the revised treaty states that the aims of the to promote cooperation and integration, leading to the establishment of an economic union in West Africa in order to raise the living standards of its people, and to maintain and enhance economic stability, foster relationships among member states, and contribute to the progress and development of the African continent. Clearly, you can see that this is a representation of the objectives of Nigerian foreign policy. His Excellency Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, the first Prime Minister of Nigeria, adumbrated the foreign policy objectives of Nigeria with a focus on Africa, and subsequently, other Nigerian leaders focused on promoting the goals of Africa, and in particular in the decolonization process. This is the main thrust of Nigeria's foreign policy. Now, the integration process is supposed to take place through a number of stages, and this can be found in Article 3.2, which include harmonization of policies, coordination of policies, promotion and establishment of joint production, establishment of a common market, liberalization of trade barriers, including the abolition of tariffs and adoption of common market among member countries. In other words, ECOWAS was formed with a view to establishing an economic community that will promote the economic development and well-being of its citizens and to compete in the international community with other regions of the world. ECOWAS was established based on certain fundamental principles. I believe that by the time I leave this, I would have provoked some thoughts from those who are aspiring to do a PhD thesis, that this constitutes a PhD thesis for those who are interested in knowing ECOWAS. The principles of ECOWAS include the following: equality and interdependence of member states. In other words, ECOWAS was established on the basis that all states are equal and are interdependent on one another. The second principle is that of solidarity and collective self-reliance. It is assumed that when we come together, we are stronger and we are better in fostering our cause. It was also established on the principle of interstate cooperation, harmonization of policies, and integration of programs. The non-aggression among member states is a cardinal principle of ECOWAS, that no ECOWAS member state should take up arms against another. And the maintenance of regional peace is one of the cardinal principles of ECOWAS. Peaceful settlement of disputes is one of the established principles of ECOWAS. Recognition, promotion, and protection of human rights, accountability, economic, and social justice. These were the fundamental principles upon which ECOWAS was established, and it has been nurtured in order to bring about peace, unity, and development in the region. There are many institutions that scholars of regional integration would know in ECOWAS. The highest authority in ECOWAS for decision-making is the authority of heads of state and government. There is the Council of Ministers. There is the ECOWAS Parliament in terms of institutions. There is the ECOWAS Court of Justice. There is a specialized form meant for supporting economic development. Most importantly, over time, ECOWAS has evolved into addressing almost all issues in the region, and therefore, specialized institutions have been established, and one of the institutions which I had the rare privilege of heading is the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa. The aims of ECOWAS are clear. ECOWAS aims to establish an economic union through the adoption of a common market and to promote balanced development among its members and establish a fund that can be used to promote this development through a number of projects. The theoretical foundation of ECOWAS is based on the functionalist theory that when we come together, we are stronger and we are better. I think this spirit is also important. For Northern Nigeria, if we come together, we are going to be stronger, we are going to be better. For Nigeria, we have to develop a common vision and a national character, national morale, that we can mobilize our elites to arrive at consensus on every national issue, and that is the best way to develop every nation. There are many examples of regional integrations in Africa, in Southern Africa, and including the African Union itself. But I want to say unequivocally that ECOWAS has been and is the most successful regional integration effort in Africa. This is highly commendable, and nobody can challenge that. I'll give you the reasons why it is so. Now let us briefly examine the performance of ECOWAS. No any other regional economic commission in Africa has achieved what ECOWAS has achieved in these areas. The diversity of ECOWAS means that it has more challenges than any other regional integration in the world. However, it has achieved a lot and it has become, overall, becoming the most successful regional integration in the world in these areas. 1, trade liberalization. Before the establishment of ECOWAS, we did not know how to trade among ourselves. But with the liberalization of trade, removing tariffs and harmonizing our tariffs, we can now trade easily. If you go to Jigawa State, for example, and Katsina, you find people crossing the border without any limitation, without any restriction. Nigerians go to buy in neighboring cities in Niger, and Nigerians come to buy in neighboring cities in Nigeria, which means this liberalization of trade and tariffs has helped us to trade among ourselves. The second successful area is in the area of monetary exchange. In this area, significant effort has been made, but we have not reached destination yet. The most important achievement of ECOWAS is in the area of free movement of people. That you, as a Nigerian, you can go to any ECOWAS country and reside without having a visa. This is quite significant at bringing our member states together. The establishment of the ECOWAS Regional Competitive Authority is to support business operations. In the area of industrial development and tourism, the strategic plan for industrial development that has been developed has been very helpful in promoting and deepening economic integration in the region. Quality and standards for food, fortification, research and statistics, the launching of the African Eco Tour, as well as support for small and medium-sized enterprises in member states are some of the important achievements of ECOWAS. Various programs and projects have been carried out for the promotion of education, science and technology in ECOWAS member states. Education system in the region has been harmonized. The establishment of ECOWAS Nnamdi Azikiwe Academic Mobility Scheme to equip the youth with skills is one of the major achievements, as well as the establishment of the West African Network of National Academies of Sciences, the establishment of African Forum for Research and Innovation. All these are aimed at promoting science and education. In the area of energy, power, and mines, the establishment of special investment fund for renewable energy in 8 states, focusing on electrification, solar energy, and water access. The establishment of the ECOWAS Regional Electricity Regulatory Authority, the ECOWAS Green Hydrogen Project, as well as providing grants for supporting energy in the region. The implementation of the ECOWAS Power Pool Project is one of the major achievements and development in this area. Now, there is currently a desert to power initiative to harmonize energy in the solar system in the Sahel region, particularly focused on the 3 states that we are going to discuss. In the area of agriculture, ECOWAS has developed a regional agricultural policy and is providing support for the development of livestock, fisheries, climate change adaptation, and food security. And with the support of the ECOWAS Bank for Development, ECOWAS has established the Regional Fund for Agriculture and Food Security. The West African Initiative for Climate Smart Agriculture, which is supported by 17 financial institutions, is one of the major achievements of ECOWAS, as well as donating grants to member states with the support of the ECOWAS Bank as well as the World Bank. In the area of infrastructure, through the ECOWAS Bank for Development, several infrastructural projects are being executed in the region. The establishment of the Fund for Regional Stabilization and Development with the support of the government of Germany the establishment of ECOWAS Computer Center in Niamey in order to make this region a digital region. The support for the Amilcar Cabral Submarine Center project in Guinea-Bissau are all support in the area of infrastructure. In humanitarian affairs and gender, ECOWAS has established a gender development center which supports especially women and children, strengthening them to undertake small businesses in order to support their families. The regional strategy and support for member states in order to achieve the human capacity development indicators. The launching of a comprehensive humanitarian response plan with an initial $9 million to support refugees, IDPs, and asylum seekers, humanitarian assistance to victims of disorders, drought, flood, and diseases. We pray and hope that this assistance be extended to our brothers in Maiduguri. In the area of rule of law and promotion of good governance, ECOWAS has developed and harmonized legal frameworks for law enforcement, criminal and judicial cooperation, including in the area of mutual legal assistance. The creation of network of civil society to strengthen civil society in the region, to demand for accountability from their elected officials. ECOWAS intervention to resolve political crisis in Cote d'Ivoire in 2010, in Guinea in 2011, in Mali in 2013, in the Gambia in 2016, as well as in Guinea-Bissau, are all remarkable political steps that have been taken by our leaders to ensure that democracy is promoted and sustained in the region. Supporting democracy, ECOWAS has been fielding election observer missions in member states in order to ensure that the voice counts in election in every country in the region. An early warning mechanism has been established at ECOWAS to warn our authorities that there is possibility of crisis in any part of the region. This early warning department is located in the office of the Vice President. The deployment of special envoys in the event that there is crisis, as you may recall, when this situation happened between ECOWAS and Niger, our royal fathers, our ulamas, our traditional rulers, and others were involved in negotiating with Niger in order to have a common solution. Mediation of political crisis through the Council of the Wise. There is a Council of the Wise, which is constituted mostly by former heads of state who mediate when there is an outbreak of any political situation. The strengthening of civil society organizations to participate in governance are all very important achievements of ECOWAS. With respect to institutional transformation, the Executive Secretariat has been transformed into a commission with about 9 commissioners president. Nigeria has a privileged position of occupying at least 1 commission at any point in time. This is in recognition of Nigeria's contribution to ECOWAS. The ECOWAS Parliament has become more democratic. Specialized institutions have been established, including WAHU and Java. The national ECOWAS units have become more inclusive and representatives. The ECOWAS has established representative offices in New York, in Addis Ababa, and in Brussels in order to deepen international cooperation with all parts of the world. In the area of peace and security, the most important achievement of ECOWAS is the deployment of the ECOMOG. You will recall that through Nigeria's leadership, ECOWAS was able to develop, to deploy significant troops in Liberia and in Sierra Leone in order to bring to an end the civil wars that broke out in those countries. The establishment of an ECOWAS standby force, the ECOWAS counterterrorism strategy, which has been developed, and an initial $4 million has been devoted to promote counterterrorism as a result of the situation we are facing in Nigeria. With respect to international relations, ECOWAS has gained recognition and confidence to participate as a bloc in the United Nations and the African Union. It has established robust cooperation with all development partners in the region in order to attract support for the development of the region. There are several challenges, however, that despite these significant achievements, ECOWAS is still facing a lot of challenges. One of these is the proliferation of small arms and light weapons across borders, and also the instability in some parts of the world, especially in Sudan, Chad, Libya, which has affected us, and especially in Nigeria. Another important challenge we are facing is the issue of migration across borders without proper documentation, the violation of human rights and human trafficking, the insufficient political will on the part of leaders to implement ECOWAS protocol remains challenges. The lack of a common currency still remains a challenge, but as I told you, significant efforts are being made and progress has been made that in the near future, all the divergent criteria will be made and ECOWAS will have its own common currency. Transnational organized crimes continue to affect West Africa, and especially with a very weak economic base, the fact that our economies are import dependent, we only depend on primary products and therefore we're exporting raw materials rather than exporting finished products. The mistrust among African leaders is yet another problem that we have to overcome. But the most important threat in my view is the threat of disintegration, which is the beginning of this lecture. The threat of disintegration is coming from 3 member countries of ECOWAS: Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Consequent upon a military coup in Niger on 26 July 2003, the ECOWAS suspended Niger and threatened to take military action against the military junta. The decision of ECOWAS was predicated on the provision of the ECOWAS Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance, under which ECOWAS can take any action, including military action, to restore democracy in any member state. The ECOWAS, therefore, in reaction, imposed comprehensive sanctions on Niger. The legal basis for these sanctions must be clear. Article 45 of the ECOWAS Protocol on Good Governance, 2001, provides that ECOWAS can take the following actions in the event of violation of that protocol. 1. In the event that the democracy is abruptly brought to an end by any means or where there is massive violation of human rights in any member state, ECOWAS member states can impose on the state concerned some sanctions. Well, this is the most important part of the presentation. Unfortunately, His Royal Highness has an emergency. He has to attend to another important event. May we therefore rise for His Royal Highness to take leave. Yes, he's apologizing. He said I should apologize on his behalf for the interruption. But nevertheless, we are going to send the presentation to him. Thank you. Thank you, Your Highness. Thank you. Thank you, Your Highness. It is normal in Nigeria, isn't it? It is normal that officials don't have control over this. So we can understand with our leaders. We will continue, please. Some of the sanctions that member states can take according to law is to refuse to support the candidate from a country that is under sanction from seeking any elective office in an international organization. 3, no ECOWAS meetings shall be held in the concerned member state. 4, suspension from ECOWAS decision-making bodies of any member state that is under sanction. It should be noted that in order to strengthen these provisions, the ECOWAS Supplementary Act A/SP.13/02/12 on sanctions against member states that failed to honor their obligations was enacted in 2012, which means that ECOWAS was determined to strengthen its sanctions regime. The immediate release, the ECOWAS therefore, as a result of a coup in Niger, ECOWAS demanded that the former president, Mohamed Bazoum, should be released with immediate effect from detention. Secondly, ECOWAS also demanded within 1 week to elapse that the coup leaders in Niger should give up and hand over to President Mohamed Bazoum. Thirdly, emissaries were sent to persuade them, but they remain emboldened and they refused. ECOWAS demanded for a timetable of return to democratic rule. That was not achieved. The situation deteriorated as a result of this, and there has been now loss of confidence, loss of trust between ECOWAS and the Nigerian authorities, and now it has extended to the 2 other states of Burkina Faso and Mali. Now, the 3 states have decided to come together to form an alliance, what they call Alliance des États du Sahel. The trio in a charter known as the Liptako-Goma Charter established the alliance in Article 1 to serve as an architecture of collective defense and mutual assistance for the contracting parties. Take note of what they want to do. An architecture for collective defense and alliance. What that means to students of strategic studies. Now, this alliance, this article provides that any attack on the sovereignty and territorial integrity of one or more contracting parties shall be considered as aggression against the other parties and shall give rise to a duty of assistance and relief on the part of all parties individually or collectively, including the use of armed forces to restore and ensure security within the area covered by this agreement, Article 6. This is a very dangerous provision. In other words, they are drawing the concept of NATO, that an attack on one member is an attack on other members. And therefore, if Nigeria decides or ECOWAS decides to attack Niger, then the 3 of them will mobilize resources to defend themselves and retaliate such attack. Take note of this provision. Now, they have decided formally on the 28th January 2004, the 3 suspended countries announced their withdrawal from ECOWAS. Guinea, which was suspended, of course, did not take such a move. It did not withdraw. So Guinea, even though it's suspended from ECOWAS, it has not indicated interest to withdraw. They had already withdrawn, if you may recall, from the G5 Sahel, a security outfit that is helping to combat terrorism in the Sahel region. So the process of disintegration started from their withdrawal from the G5 Sahel alliance. Reasons that they gave for their withdrawal. The three member states gave 3 or 4 reasons for their withdrawal. The first is that the perceived departure of the ECOWAS from the Pan-African ideals of its founding fathers. In other words, they feel that the step taken by ECOWAS to threaten them is not in the ideals of the founders of ECOWAS. Therefore, they are deciding to leave. The second reason is the perceived influence of hostile foreign powers on ECOWAS. They believe that ECOWAS is now influenced by external forces. And in the BBC or VOA interviews, you will hear there are allegations that, look, our president is always frequenting France, and therefore they are suggesting that France has tremendous influence over our president, who is the chairman of ECOWAS, and this is why they feel that they cannot negotiate with ECOWAS. The third reason is a feeling of abandonment by ECOWAS in the fight against terrorism. They feel that they are the most affected countries in ECOWAS by terrorism, and yet they feel that ECOWAS has not supported them, and therefore they want to be on their own to face their security challenges. And 4, they feel they should withdraw because of the imposition of what they call illegal, illegitimate, inhuman, and irresponsible sanctions imposed by them by ECOWAS. So these are the 4 main reasons that these 3 countries have given for their withdrawal from ECOWAS. Now, after that, the only living founding father of ECOWAS, General Gawan, felt that the situation was deteriorating. So he had to intervene. And in an open letter dated 13 February 2024, General Gawan called on ECOWAS leaders immediately to consider the following 3 recommendations. 1, that ECOWAS should lift all sanctions on the 3 countries with immediate effect in order to reconcile. 2, that the 3 states should withdraw their threat to withdraw from ECOWAS so that we can sit and discuss this matter in a mutual way. And 3, that the ECOWAS should convene an immediate extraordinary summit, including the other heads of state, to discuss the grievances of the 3 states. Soon after the intervention of General Gawan, an extraordinary summit of the ECOWAS was convened in February. On February 24th, precisely. During that time, the authority appraised the situation and received the report on the withdrawal of the 3 member states. They noted the lack of progress in persuading the member states to change their mind to come. We therefore recall the ECOWAS principles of zero tolerance for unconstitutional changes of government. We also noted the appeal by General Gawan and several other opinion leaders in the region. We discussed the implications of the withdrawal and called on the 3 states to reconsider their positions. It is important to state that these 3 states were invited to that summit, but none of them came. So these decisions that were taken at this summit, they were not part of this decision. Now, the 1990 3 ECOWAS revised treaty spells out conditions for a member state that wishes to withdraw its membership from the community in Article 91, and is provided as follows. Any member state wishing to withdraw from the community shall give the president of the commission 1 year's notice in writing, who shall inform member states thereof. At the expiration of this period, if such notice is not withdrawn, such a state shall cease to be a member of the community. Practically, therefore, in the next 5 years, if this notice is not withdrawn, the member states will automatically be out of ECOWAS. The second provision is that during the period of 1 year referred in the preceding program, such a member state shall continue to comply with the provisions of this treaty and shall remain bound to discharge its obligations under this treaty. I'm not sure that these member states are complying with this provision. So when we get to the stage at which they have to withdraw, the legal experts will raise this issue, and then we may have to go to maybe a court of arbitration because they have not complied with this particular provision of the treaty. The status quo now is that membership can be withdrawn within 1 year, which begins counting only after an official written communication from a member state is transmitted to the president of the commission, who will in turn inform member states upon receipt of said. This is the stage of things with regard to member states. They have officially written, we want to quit. This has been officially transmitted to the authorities. So from the date they wrote in January, by the time we get to January 28th, and if they have not withdrawn, this matter is not settled, we shall consider them as not part of ECOWAS. Then what will be the implication? There are many implications of this, both for them and for the ECOWAS. The extraordinary summit of the authority considered a technical report on the implications of the withdrawal from ECOWAS of the 3 states sectorally, on the states and on ECOWAS and the wider international community. I provide a summary of the implications as follows. Political and security implication. The 3 countries benefited from over $1 million mobilized by UMOA. UMOA is the Francophone association that is working in partnership with ECOWAS to support terrorism. In addition, ECOWAS extended $7.5 million direct support to these 3 states in order to assist them to fight terrorism and insurgency. The withdrawal may affect security cooperation, particularly in the sharing of intelligence and the participation in joint operations as the Accra Initiative. The Accra Initiative is basically an initiative of ECOWAS to prevent and combat terrorism in the region. So if these member states who are more affected by terrorism they withdraw, there will be impact on them, there will be impact on us, because the kind of cooperation we receive from them in terms of sharing information and intelligence may no longer be there. It may lead to diplomatic isolation of the 3 member states because they may no longer get the support of other ECOWAS member states in international organizations. For example, if they want to present their candidate for a position in either the African Union or the United Nations, the ECOWAS will not be able to support them as a bloc, and they will lose this international privilege. Socio-economic implications. It will affect their irrigation status, and their citizens may no longer reside or set up businesses in Africa. If they say they are going, That means that before they come into Nigeria, they have to apply for a visa. They have to stay in Nigeria. We have to grant them the immigration status that will allow them. So even our brothers and sisters that are in Nigeria, if they want to visit you, they can no longer just visit you crossing the border in Katsina or in Yawa or in Kebbi just to come and visit you. You will have to get a visa. And you too, if you want to go to them, it means you have to go through the process of obtaining a visa and residence permit. They will cease to use the ECOWAS passport, the ECOWAS biometric national ID cards, and the ECOWAS brown card for vehicle insurance. The three countries, as we know, represent 17.4% of the 425 million population of ECOWAS. And even though they constitute only 10% of the GDP, their departure will significantly reduce our market, ECOWAS market. Because under the African Free Trade Treaty, we now, as ECOWAS, begin on the basis that we constitute a sub-market. And if they withdraw, it means that our market will significantly reduce. And those things that we trade with them, we are also going to impose some tariffs. That will create a lot of economic difficulties. Intercommunity trade will be disrupted, especially trade in livestock, fish, palms, agricultural products, traditional handicrafts, etc., etc. Our people cross the border on weekly or daily basis to go to Niger. We buy traditional handicrafts, we buy fish, we buy other things from them. They also cross to come here to buy grains. This has been the spirit of brotherhood, and that has been an important platform on which we maintain our security and solidarity with Niger. If eventually they withdraw, we are not going to have this any longer. The effects on regional projects. The three countries host about 17,000 or 52% of the territorial space of the region, meaning that they constitute about 17% of food reserve of ECOWAS, even though their land mass is basically desert, but it's also it can be used for other things. They have a lot of minerals that can constitute in raising the GDP of the region. If eventually they go, we are going to lose this. They are also going to lose. The ECOWAS support program on pastoralism in the Sahel, which is financed by the World Bank amounting to 215 million, will collapse. Program on irrigation support for the three member states amounting to $103.43 million will also be affected. The Regional Food System Resilience Support Program for the three states amounting to $230 million will suffer. The ECOWAS regional electricity market, particularly under the West African power pool, will also be affected because they are also connected. As Nigeria is providing them electricity, it is in the spirit of cooperation that Nigeria is providing them with electricity. When they are no longer in ECOWAS, Nigeria may have to review that. And if Nigeria reviews that agreement, they may also decide to dam the River Niger in their country, and we may no longer have sufficient water supply for generating electricity in the country. So it is going to affect Nigeria directly. West Africa Single Identity and Regional Integration Inclusion Project will be affected. In total, we estimate that the withdrawal of the three member states could result in the halt or loss of about $500 million project and programs in funding. So you can see the loss is both on their side and on the side of ECOWAS. Financial implications. The ECOWAS Bank for Development, EBID, has 27 public sector projects in the three states. Burkina Faso has 9, Mali has 8, and Niger has 10. And a total of 20 private sector projects, with Burkina Faso having 5, Mali 13, Niger 2. All these projects are valued at approximately $321,634,258. That means this fund is going to be affected. Secondly, EBIT's portfolio in the 3 countries is approximately 22.5%. The 3 countries are contributing about 22.5% of the bank's total portfolio. This amount to about 33.5 million by Burkina Faso, 13 million by Mali, 9.5 by Niger. All this constitutes the capital of EBIT, and if they withdraw, it's certainly going to affect the funding of EBIT and therefore funding of development projects in the region. The institutional implication of this is that 4 regional entities based in Burkina Faso will be closed, and the one in Mali and Niger will also be closed. This will affect about 130 jobs of the citizens of the 3 countries, with Burkina Faso having 77, Mali having 23, and Niger 32. So it will create unemployment also in the region as a result of their withdrawal. The global implication is that the negative perception of France in the Sahel region will create a platform for world power rivalry, especially the rising influence of Russia and China in the 3 countries. In all the 3 countries, they seem to say, no, we don't have anything to do with France. They have even severe diplomatic relations with France. And therefore, other powers will feel, okay, since France, that is the dominant power in the region, is not there, we are coming in order to take advantage. These countries have minerals. They need support for security. So they are going to bargain a lot of things, and therefore they are going to make this region another theater of global power struggle. EU immigration policy will be affected. There will be increased irregular immigration because these 3 states are the borders between ECOWAS and the EU countries, and it is estimated that most of the irregular immigration from ECOWAS take place through these 3 countries. Now, being landlocked, the 3 countries will become prisoners of geostrategic formation, attracting new actors, including China, Turkey, and Iran. These are the powers that are seeking also global recognition. And since these countries are landlocked, they will explore possibility of promising them some legacies so that they win their support, become their partners. And if some of these partners are not friendly to ECOWAS or to Nigeria, this will constitute a major security threat to our region. However, in a conciliatory move, ECOWAS decided to lift the following sanctions on Niger during their summit. The closure of land and air borders between ECOWAS countries and Niger was lifted. The institution of ECOWAS no-fly zone on Niger has also been lifted. It's as a result of that that those of you who fly to Europe, you find during the initial stages, instead of taking you 5 hours to go to London, it was taking about 7 hours because when the no-fly zone was enforced, we could not fly over the airspace of Niger. We had to go through, going through Sudan or other regions to get to Europe. That has been lifted in order to bring them to the negotiation table. The suspension of commercial and financial transactions between ECOWAS and Niger has also been lifted. The freeze of all service transactions, including utility services and electricity, with Niger has been lifted. Nigeria has restored the electricity that was cut off from Niger. The freeze of assets of the Niger state enterprises and parastatals in commercial banks in West Africa has been lifted. The suspension of Niger from all financial assistance and transactions with all financial institutions, particularly EDIC and the French West African Bank, have also been lifted. The travel ban on government officials and their families, which was imposed following a coup in Niger, has also been lifted. So you can see that ECOWAS has gone far in giving a lot of concessions in order to bring these three states to a negotiating table, yet they have refused to come. Furthermore, the restriction on the recruitment of the citizens of Mali to professional positions in ECOWAS institution has been lifted. Financial and economic sanctions on the Republic of Guinea, even though it was not part of these three states, has also been lifted in order to allow Guinea to come to the negotiating table. The four states are now to be invited to security, technical, and consultative meetings of ECOWAS, but they have refused to come, meaning that they are not interested in any further negotiation. Now, what ECOWAS has done is to reactivate the standby force. In view of these developments, the ECOWAS authority directed the Commission to expedite action on the operationalization of the standby force in its kinetic mode to fight terrorism in the region, including elements of the multinational joint task force initiative. Now, the reactivation of this standby force was misconceived and misinterpreted by the public. The ECOWAS intention of reactivating this force is to deal with terrorism. But other people, some scholars misinterpreted it to mean that it is the force that will now be used to intervene in these countries. Far from it. This was the objective of ECOWAS, to support even the Sahel countries to fight terrorism by reactivating the standby force. Now, in conclusion, the revised treaty of ECOWAS provides for withdrawal of membership based on clear conditions. The decision of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger to withdraw is legitimate. But the desire to make it with immediate effect cannot be supported by the treaty. There are wide-ranging socio-economic, political, and security implications of the withdrawal with direct impact on the community citizens, ECOWAS integration, and the security agenda, as well as the three member states withdrawing from the community. While the process of withdrawal is in motion, ECOWAS needs to continue to explore options for resolving the issues with these three member states. ECOWAS should therefore continue to review its legal regime and procedure for accession and readmission of members into the community in the event that we get to January and they did not withdraw their notice of withdrawal. The ECOWAS decision to invade Niger, in my personal opinion, was hasty. I worked in ECOWAS as head of a specialized institution for 8 years. During the 8-year time I was at ECOWAS, I did not miss the summit of heads of state even once. And I knew the procedure for dealing with this type of situation in ECOWAS is through a graduated diplomacy. Graduated in the sense that you make an appeal, you send emissaries, you negotiate. Using force is the last option. Unfortunately, I can say we made a mistake by applying the mighty option without exploring the diplomatic option sufficiently. And that emboldened those two countries now to become more recalcitrant. The perception of influence, external influence, has further complicated the process of negotiation. When you hear commentaries on foreign radio, senior Nigerian officials accusing Nigeria of having been maybe used by France to destabilize their country is very, very unfortunate. In all members of ECOWAS, Niger and Nigeria have been the best of friends, and we should have explored all opportunities whatsoever to keep this friendship. We speak almost the same language, the same tongue, we share common tradition and religion, and we share a lot of things in common with Niger. This is really an unfortunate development. Thirdly, the so-called populist policies that are being rolled out by the military junta, especially in Burkina Faso, is making the military a little bit popular, to the extent that some Nigerians are ignorantly saying that, well, the military regime in Burkina Faso is better than democratic government in Nigeria. This has serious repercussions on the stability of our democracy, the stability and progress of our country and the region at large. Finally, and most importantly, if this leads to the final withdrawal of the three countries, Nigeria will have two chapters in ECOWAS. One, Gawan will remain a hero for mobilizing his brothers, sisters, and heads of state to establish ECOWAS and creating the environment in which we enjoy today. The second unfortunate chapter, if we allow it, is while Tinubu will now be blamed or will blame for making the mistake of allowing the three countries to go under his chairmanship as ECOWAS leader. Now, my appeal, and that is my message, I wish the Emir were here. For those who have access to the president, to the government, the best approach, in my view, is not to get irritated by the side distractions in this matter, but focus on negotiating to bring these three countries together, because together we remain strong and we remain better, and better for prosperity, better for our region, better for African solidarity, better for world peace and unity. I thank you very much for your rapt attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, once again, a round of applause for our guest lecturer. Indeed, sir, the presentation was professorial, and there are a lot of take-home messages from that presentation. And what actually touched me was the part where you mentioned that Nigerians on different social media platforms were speculating that the military regime in Burkina Faso is better than the democratic dispensation in Nigeria. Indeed, that is not true, and indeed something needs to be done to maintain a stable democracy in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much, sir, for allowing us to tap from your wealth of experiences. Indeed, the enterprise of your knowledge has been felt today. And quickly, respected ladies and gentlemen, while the presentation was on, we are privileged to have in our midst the national presidents of the ABU Alumni Association, ably represented by Dr. Suleiman Balarabi, the Provost, Federal College of Education, Zaria. Please, a round of applause for the national president. I think, sir, having spent much time, may I quickly invite you, that is the representative of the national president, for some few remarks. Please put your hands together for the national president when he comes to the podium.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the merciful. The chairman of this occasion and the acting ES of NUC, Dr. Chris Eyagi, the chairman of Alumni, Ambassador Montari Keita, the guest speaker who has just concluded his presentation, Professor Saleh Kano, the book presenter, and the HOD Political Science, Professor Rehanatu Lawal, other people that are here attending this important program. The national president supposed to be here himself. He has tried as much as possible, but because of some other commitments, he couldn't. So he called me and sent his text that I should read it out here. He wanted to be here himself because of the importance of this occasion, but couldn't. In the speech, he said I should represent him, and I am the chairman of the ABU Alumni of Zaria and the Provost Federal College of Education, Zaria. He said in the speech, I honestly appreciate the faculty chapters of the Alumni Association in supporting us last concluded AGA election that brought us to power. And my special thanks to the Dean Faculty of Life Science, Professor Mariam Ahmadu Mukhtar, who has been wonderful to me and one of my very efficient and reliable member of NEC. I sincerely thank the leadership of the university under the good friend and brother, Professor Kabir Bala, and the entire university management and community for the support since we came on board. I joyfully want to say that the Alumni Association and the university is having the best of its time in terms of collaboration and working together today. This relationship is the best in the history. The leadership of the Alumni Association has a good plan and support to the university to achieve all its objectives. In less than 1 month of our coming as ESCOs, there was 100% payment as contribution by individual ESCOs into the endowment fund. The Alumni Association has been participating in all the university engagements and attending all events, being invited either by the university, faculties, departments, students, and other relevant bodies. This will bring closeness and understanding in today's event is one of it. There are convincing evidence in my leadership. The alumni today is very close, and there is that enabling environment and friendly relationship with the university. In terms of collaboration for the progress of the university, the alumni is working closely with a reunion group, SIPO, to ensure more positive things come into the university. The National Executive Council is organizing 2 major events this year. The Annual General Assembly AGA coming up in Shamar campus from 26th to 28th September 2024. The Alumni Association is working closely with the university to organize a gala and award night in November this year in Abuja, where major stakeholders, both alumnus and friends of the university, will be brought together. This event will provide an avenue to look for certain projects that could benefit the university. The alumni under my leadership is promoting the good image of the university, and we appreciate the good working relationship with EU, EUA, and IE under the leadership of Professor Sani Abba. Finally, we appreciate everyone, and the alumni will work with faculties and association. This is the message of the President. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, sir. Once again, a round of applause for the representative of the national president. And quickly, respected ladies and gentlemen, there are some little adjustments on the agenda. Immediately after the public lecture, we're supposed to take discussions and review from probably members of the high table and then from the audience. And due to time constraint, we're going to give opportunities to only 2 people. So if you have any review, I think the absence of any, I'll call on Professor Mujwa. I'll give you 2 to 3 minutes to just give us a little review about the presentation. And then after that, I think to balance it up, in order not to be castigated for being gender biased, the next will be Professor Rashida Liman. I'll also give you 2 minutes to say something, and then we move on to the book presentation by Professor Abdullahi Sulekano. It's a professorial discussion, and I know academics with time, sir, but you have 3 minutes to do that.
Thank you very much. The chairman of the occasion, the alumni president, the representative of the General Alumni Association, members of the high table, ladies and gentlemen, greetings. I want to say that the professor did good justice to the topic, particularly this aspect that has to do with the behavior of ECOWAS as a regional body, and also the reaction of the 3 members that have given notice of their withdrawal from the membership. While the lecturer was giving his lecture, I got thinking, and the thing that came to my mind was, and still is, if ECOWAS was established on the basis of certain rules and regulations, and members also joined acceding to these rules and regulations, then why is it difficult now? Or why are the members that have violated certain aspect of the rules and regulations, why are they protesting if they are being disciplined by, the body as an organization? And why is it that when sanctions are being meted to the members that have violated the rules of this association, why is it that we're also blaming ECOWAS for, insisting on its rules and regulations? And I think that is the greatest dilemma for us as individuals and also for all the members of ECOWAS. If we are not ready to obey simple rules and regulations, and when we violate these rules and regulations, if sanctions are meted against us and we are protesting, why are we protesting? Because it's not as if these rules are new. It's not as if these rules came into existence after the act of violation by these certain members. And why are we also blaming the organization for insisting on upholding its rules and regulations? I think we have to think very sincerely about this dilemma, and on the basis of this, know how to advise ECOWAS about the way forward. I thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Professor Rashida Liman, please. You also have 3 minutes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, the President and Chairman, members of the high table. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I was curious when the ambassador was presenting. The echo that came to my mind is what actually is the role of ECOWAS when the people were agitating? What's the role of ECOWAS when these countries were protesting about the influence of France, for instance? For me, I feel we're constantly reactive to situations, particularly in Africa. ECOWAS is supposed to be an organization that protects the interests of its people. In that case, we shouldn't be found to be a reactive organization. We're supposed to be proactive, especially when it comes to the protection of the national interests of these countries and our collective interest as Africans. Mr. Chairman, sir, I think we can't run away from the fact that these countries are gathering support internally and externally. Why is it so? It's important for us to answer these questions in order not to play the ostrich. Playing the ostrich would further expose our weaknesses as leaders, for instance, as Nigeria being a leader of ECOWAS. I think these are questions that need to be addressed. Otherwise, we'll have more countries saying goodbye or attempting to say goodbye to ECOWAS. Mr. Chairman, sir, these questions need to be addressed. They're important. Where was ECOWAS when people were agitating against the influence of France? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Indeed, I was right when I say it was a professorial presentation. Our professors do tell us in class that any paper that stimulates discussions is indeed an excellent paper. Thank you very much once again, sir, for allowing us to tap from your wealth of experience. And quickly, ladies and gentlemen, we are making progress and then gradually coming to the end of today's event. The next item on the agenda, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, we move to the book presentation by Professor Abdullahi Suli. May I humbly and respectfully invite the book presenter to the podium for this task. Please a round of applause for him while he comes to the podium. Professor Abdullahi Suli Kanu is an erudite scholar, and he is currently the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Bayero University, Kanu. Please once again a round of applause for him. Thank you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. It's a great pleasure to be with you today on this great occasion. I have first recognized Vice Chancellor, who was ably represented by his DVC, and the great chairman of the occasion, who is at the same time the Executive Secretary of NUC. Our Excellencies, it is the first set of graduates of IS at Bello University, and all graduates of IS that are in this place, students of IS, and all students of Ahmadu Bello University, in our great and active head of department, Political Science and International Studies. I welcome you all to this occasion. I'm here actually to present a book, but in a different manner, because in the traditions of book presentation in Nigeria, the emphasis really is the return on investment of the book. But in this occasion, actually, we are more concerned about the process of the book. But before I do that, I would like to tender an apology of the key driver for the publication of this book, or book series, that are titled as Brain Gain Books Project. That is Professor Ochulu Okelo. Up to this moment, and up to early morning, he was trying to find his way to Zaria, but unfortunately, the driver he arranged to bring him to Zaria did not surface until very late when the program was started. He gave up. He said you should tender his apology. The book is titled Governance, Economy and Development in Africa. It's a publication, as I said, of Brain Gain Book Project. And the presentation, as I said, essentially is not just about the book, but about the processes of the book. That's the main attention that we'd like to draw people into. Two great scholars are behind this project. Okello Shuli, Oli Mwalimu, of course, Professor Nesidi Yakubu. Both of them in this presentation, I call them Mwalimu, the Malams. These are the greatest titles of scholars in Africa, even before the coming of Europeans. You see our scholars as Mwalimu. Once you attain that seat, you are at the peak of your career and you are respected by the knowledge you help to create and the training you give, in whichever university you find yourself. These two great scholars have groomed hundreds of students in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences where they did their career. And in the middle of the crisis of books, what we call book hunger, they put their heads together and come up with the idea that there should be a way to attack the book hunger. Because at that moment, it was clear that the universities don't have enough money to restock the library. The bookshops were virtually collapsing across the country, and the books were becoming so expensive. The entire scenario changed. For example, the scenario we met when we are undergraduates in the department, where all the books you need, reference books, are there either in Kashi Brand Library or in the faculty library. In addition to that, we got the privileges of collecting, well, I don't want to call it handout, because these are extractions from chapters and so on by our scholars, our tea lecturers, who they reproduce and keep for students to go and pick for free. You just go and check which one is relevant to the course you are doing, and you pick. Subsequently, this phenomenon became the phenomenon of handout in Nigerian universities. Some scholars started exploiting students that they had to pay for handouts because there is no materials for learning. So these two scholars came up with the idea of brain gain project, address the problem of brain drain, because part of the problem was that large number of our colleagues, our senior scholars, have left the country because of the difficulties in Nigeria. And most of the foreign scholars also in the faculty actually all disappeared. Under this arrangement, they get in touch with all the scholars they know of, either those who school with them elsewhere in any other part of the world, and those within Nigeria, and also some of their students, to contribute to a publication that is aimed at addressing the problem of book hunger, more especially in political science, international studies, and social sciences and humanities generally. And the first effort, it was a very good effort because quite a number of scholars responded. This is the third volume of this project. The project is not a profit-making project. What they do is to get among themselves scholars who are committed to this project. They will ask them to manage the materials gathered, and they will be produced in the form of book and sold in a very cheap price to students. The money that is taken from the book is recirculated again in the publication of the book. But over time, because of the cost of producing books again, it became so slowly, before you recover the cost, you delay the production of another edition. It was under this circumstance that we suggested that our alumni, IS alumni, play a role in the reproduction of this edition. That in the first place, we want these books to be available to our students. One, because they are the rich sources of materials that they don't find in any textbook outside the continent, more especially outside Nigeria, considering issues of international relations, international politics, and strategic studies. And secondly, it is directed towards addressing the peculiar problems that we are facing in terms of creating knowledge and solutions to challenges of our state and societies generally. And it was under this that the books started being generated. Mwalimu Okelo, as I said, who would have loved to be here, we would have given a brief discussion of the book because it was co-edited with him. I had him co-edited the book. But I still emphasize his apology. He was not here to do it. But I would say more of really the efforts in the production of the book. The essence really, as I said, is to see from our own scholars, indigenous scholars, who understand more of our politics, international economy, international relations, and strategic studies, to contribute to peculiar literature in the training of our international studies students and other students in humanities. And this rich literature actually will give them more advantage when they are out there to practice. And indeed, now we have much greater advantage because 42 years after the first set of IS graduates, we have a lot of your excellencies, ambassadors, technocrats, experienced people in society who can contribute to the production of this book, the book of this series. So what we are urging and what we want to mobilize people into is that your memoir as a career diplomat, your role as a technocrat in government or in other services, or in other businesses and so on, can be articulated and be collated in a book that our students coming up will read as part of the path to their own development. So as we have more strengthened, graduates of this field. And as it is today, we know that the training of IS students is one of the best. If you take along the line, the training of students in other faculties in Nigerian universities that do international relations. And this also has to do with the kind of materials and scholars that handle these students. So we want this process to continue. We don't want it to collapse. And we are ready to keep on volunteering to see that everybody contributes his quota. And indeed, the strategy in which advanced knowledge is created, in which our students will base their understanding of society on the basis of the realities of the society, and indeed propagate the output of searches within our system will certainly help us out in addressing this problem of book hunger. The book hunger is still there because books now are more expensive than before. In fact, some of the books that even some scholars need to use as scholars are now becoming very difficult to access. Books that we took for granted. As a student, I can buy dozens of volumes of books, less than 10,000 naira. Now you can't buy any volume with some hundreds of thousands because they are so expensive. In fact, it has reached a point that even books that we contributed to produce are out of reach to us. The only one that you may get from the publishers, most especially international publishers, is their own complementary edition. Just recently, the book was released on African political economy, which I contributed. And we thought it would be the best time that our students will have access to these books for their training. But the international publishers just placed a price tag in 2020 of 52,000 naira per volume. So even our colleagues who are in the field, they say they can't afford it. So it becomes a crisis. But what we do really, because some of us really are rebellious, the ones that we get, we photocopy it for our students for free. Then we give them to read and to make sure they understand and think about a way to address this challenge. It's a very tough challenge. So we hope our friends, our comrades, associates will partake in the production of knowledge that will be very accessible to students as far as this program is concerned. So I thank you very much for listening. Really, we appreciate the department, faculty, the university. We continue to do our best to contribute to the development of this discipline. And the books will be accessed through the department, the head of department. Bello has handed them over all to the department. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, once again, a round of applause for Professor Abdullahi Sulekano, Thank you, sir, for that wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Professor. Professor Kanu, thank you for the presentation, and we have heard you loud and clear. And within our midst here, I have one person that I forgot to mention, but he is the chairman of our association, those who joined Ministry of Foreign Affairs in 1983. So he's seated here, and we'll present this, what you have said to him. Maybe he will galvanize some of us to start writing, beginning with him. Ambassador Abu Gwani, stand up. He's the chairman, the coordinator of our group. All right, thank you. And Professor, we know that you are presenting this to the department, and based on what the platform given for you to discuss and present your case to us all, I feel that the association that it is possible, this presentation should also at least pay some part of it, part of what you have done. And for this reason, I have discussed with my colleagues and said we should pay 500,000 to be able to afford it. At the same time, I also want to acknowledge that I remember our chairman has also bought some copies some times back, much higher than what I have announced. But it's not restricted, it's continuous. And that was why I was actually surprised when two professors stood here after listening to a professor, and I was watching them actually. But they were, like, to me, they were not listening to what he was saying. Until when they stood here, that was my surprise. They were bringing out all these issues while I was noticing that they were not listening. How do you do it? That's why when you are in center of excellence, then you have to respect people that are in that field. Those professors, honestly, I thought they were in the zone with you. I thought you were not listening to the lecture. But the professor also will maybe come up later with some of the answers to the questions you raised, Professor. So we thank him, we thank you very much. But we're running out of time, but I think we have come to the end of the morning session until one or two things. But the MC, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. When you're in center of excellence, you excel. And that is why our professors came up with those questions that need urgent answer. Thank you very much once again. And by way of correction, Professor Abdullahi Sulekano is not the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic of Bello University, Kano, rather Deputy Vice Chancellor Research and Development, Bello University, Kano. And then he's also a former National President of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Thank you very much once again, sir. And indeed, from his presentation, you will agree with me that he is a comrade. He's a comrade, someone that has spent years in the struggle. Thank you once again, sir. And probably I'll come for a photocopy of that book too. And quickly, the next item on the agenda is a presentation of plaques to the special guest of honor and other dignitaries. Mr. Chairman, if you permit, we commence the presentation of the plaques. All right, quickly. For those with the agenda, you will realize that we've jumped coffee and tea break. We've decided to match the two, coffee, tea break, and lunch.
Thank you very much. I think the party language here is that this event has been adjudged to be a resounding success, and I think we need to give ourselves a round of applause. And every one of us, from all the sentiment that have been canvassed, all the lecture was a very remarkable and outstanding one. Congratulations, Prof. You took us through the historical conspectus, all the issues that have continued to shape the factors and facts, ECOWAS till where we are. Thank you, the book reviewer as well, and all the participants. Now, we are winding up, we've gotten to the point of handing over some token of recognition. I'd like to invite a representative of His Royal Highness, the special guest of honor, the Emir of Zauzau, so we can hand over the flag to. Thank you. Please keep clapping, and welcome our Royal Father. Welcome our Royal Father. Special Appreciation Award presented to His Royal Highness Ambassador Ahmadu Bambali, CFR, Emir of Zauzau, in appreciation of his presence as the Royal Father of the Day at the first annual General meeting, AGM of the International Studies Alumni Association, Ahmadu Bello University. Please, we would like to, through you, to His Royal Highness, convey the deep sense of gratitude that we continue to feel as an association. I thank you. Is the VC still being represented?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who is representing him? Dr. Nader? Oh, you're here. Okay, so can we have that of the VC, our host, Vice Chancellor, who has been a pillar of support? MC. This is to Professor Kabir Bula, Vice Chancellor, Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. He's the number one VC, do you remember? In the hierarchy, he's number one. You don't remember? Okay, you need to go and double check again your history. Okay, this is a token of appreciation on behalf of all the technocrats, the ambassadors, the academics who constitute this important and notable association. We want to, through you, again, convey our gratitude to the VC for all his unflinching support. We thank you once again. Thank you. Good. The next one is to the guest lecturer, Ambassador Professor A.Y. Shehu, who has continued to demonstrate academic credibility. People like Ambassador Shehu have continued to bring back prestige, respect to the classroom, to the corridor of power. You are, a combination of so many facts. And on behalf of this, grateful, men of timber and caliber and the students, we would like to thank you for your time, for the investments you have made in preparing this document and the very lessons that we have learned on our ECOWAS. We thank you once again.
The next is the chairman of today's occasion. And may I invite the interim president, Ambassador Muntari Abdul Keita, for the presentation of this award.
This special appreciation award goes to our chairman of the day, Dr. Chris Mayeg. I mean, you have heard him, you have heard his speech. It was eloquent. I thought initially that, was he also a professor here? Well, you heard what the Emir of Zauzau said. It was unfortunate that he was coming to speak after the chairman, but this is to acknowledge and show our gratitude to him for coming. We know the level of work he has. He has to abandon one or two to be here today. So we are grateful for your presence at this first annual general meeting of this great association and this great university. Thank you very much. Yes. Okay. Thank you, HOD. This award goes to a special guest of honor who, like we explained, was unavoidably absent. But throughout this event, we didn't know at the last minute that there is actually a representative who give her that role as representative of His Excellency here, but because she is now the executive secretary of the scholarship board, is of her state, Professor Rashida. So please come and accept this on behalf of His Excellency and from the. And incidentally, yesterday I spoke to somebody who is a close friend to the governor, and he explained why he couldn't be here. So this award, special appreciation award to His Excellency Dr. Dauda Lawal Gamjan Zafara, Executive Governor of the State, for attending the first annual general meeting of the International Studies Alumni Association, the special guest of honor, and continuous contribution towards the development of the department. We were informed by the HOD, actually the current building they are occupying was built by him entirely. So that was one of the reasons we wanted him to be here, come and inspect and see what he has done, because he didn't come, we are just paid for it, but he didn't come even before he became governor. So this is to him. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And quickly, for the vote of thanks. For the vote of thanks, may I invite Alhaji Suleiman Haliru. Please a round of applause for Alhaji Suleiman Haliru.
Thank you very much. My task is very easy because the chairman has just left, but it's not as if the Royal Highness is not well represented. So we can as well say that Royal Highness came and stayed till the end of the program. Same thing with the chairman, KG. Vice Chancellor was heavily represented. So in that order, I wish to, on behalf of the President, Executive Committee members, members of the Board of Trustees, all the members of this great association. On their behalf, I would like to thank particularly His Royal Highness for being here personally, in spite of his various schedules, and also in spite of the fact that he's bereaved, and definitely is also our condolences. He came, he stayed with us to the end of the program. We wish to express our gratitude and appreciation to His Royal Highness for being with us and for giving us the grace of being here. In the same vein, I would like to extend our gratitude and special appreciation to the chairman of this occasion, Mr. Chris Ayaki, who it has been difficult to track him actually because he's always up and on. But His Excellency Ambassador Ducci opened his eyes and used his GPS to track him wherever he was, and was able to get him to be here personally. And you know, I understand he also has to leave because he has other trips to undertake. So we extend our special gratitude to him for being here personally, and also for his generosity in facilitating the holding of this program. In the same vein, I would like to extend our gratitude to my big brother, Professor Abdullahi Shehu. The honors of talking to him to accept was actually bestowed on me, and I know he too is a highly engaged person. He has so many commitments, and in spite of that, he accepted to be here and to deliver his very exciting lecture, which make the occasion very, very lively. Sorry, the representative of His Excellency the Governor is leaving. I had wanted to actually extend the special appreciation to him at the last because of his colossal presence in the spirit and also being represented by our able professor. So before you go, please, we extend our deep and esteemed appreciation to His Excellency, the Governor of Zamfara State, for his generosity and also for his association with us as members of this Alumni Association. And also for you representing him. Thank you very, very much. We wish you a safe trip to your destination. I also wish to thank the representative of the Vice Chancellor because he's the chief host of it. You can see the facilities, so beautiful, so accommodating. He has always shown that support with our associates, because even during the convocation last convocation, we did ask him to slot one of our program, and he graciously accepted to do so. And we held that program also successfully. So we extend to him our special appreciation. The president of the National Alumni Association, we also extend our appreciation and thank you for being here. The other people, I did not want to actually say anything, but because Professor Sulekano is part and parcel of us. And in fact, we used to call him president because he was our president when we were in the university. When we were in the IS class, appointed the president of the international studies class. He could not take the responsibility of steering this association now because of various commitments which he had. And also at the time when we were at DC, he was also too much engaged in ASU struggle. And you know, we prepare him to stay there and carry the flag of this association. Other members of this president himself, and the distinguished IS pioneers are all here, and other members of this great association, both current students and the ones that have graduated. We thank you so much, and particularly also members of the press. Publicity you give to this association has gone a long way helping it to steer and to this success. Thank you so much. I will not leave here without mentioning that Professor Urfi, who is here, as a side talk with him, the chairman of the book project committee under TETFAL. And he has indicated that he's willing to support book projects through his committee. So I wanted to discuss the detail with our president and Professor Sulekano. So I believe after the program and see how this project can be promoted. So here we come to the end of this, and I thank you all and wish you safe return to your various locations, to your various destinations. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, once again, a round of applause for Alhaji Suleiman Halliru. And ladies and gentlemen, this particular event was covered live on the official Facebook page of the Public Affairs Directorate of the Ahmadu Bello University. It was also streamed live on the official YouTube channel of the Public Affairs Directorate of Ahmadu Bello University, and then the Twitter handle again, Instagram page, TikTok page of all of the Public Affairs Directorate of the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. And ladies and gentlemen, you all will agree with me that today's event has been an educational trip, and I hope everyone there has benefited with one or two things discussed by our resource persons and of course erudite scholars. My name is Ahmadu Waziri from the Public Affairs Directorate of the University, and I had a nice time being with you, and I look forward to meeting you again some other time. For the closing prayers, we will adopt the same tradition adopted at the beginning of the event. 30 seconds, please. Amen. We're done with the morning session. There's going to be an afternoon session, but strictly for members. The afternoon session is strictly for members. As for all invited guests, I wish you all safe journey back to your various destinations. Okay. The AGM, that's the annual general meeting and the general election, strictly for members, is